Case file number 2, the identity trap, the hidden reason you'll never be rich. You bought the watch before you could afford it. You upgraded the car when the old one still worked. You wear brands that cost 3 times your hourly rate. And every single month, you wonder why the number in your bank account looks the same. The problem isn't your salary. The problem isn't the economy. The problem is that your spending isn't driven by what you want. It's driven by who you think you need to be. Your spending is not about money. It's about identity. Psychologists call it identity-based spending. Economists call it conspicuous consumption. We're going to call it what it actually is, a trap. Here's how it works. From the moment you were old enough to understand social signals, you learned that what you own communicates who you are. The right trainers in school, the right car in your 20s, the right postcode in your 30s. This isn't vanity, this is survival programming. Humans are tribal animals. Being perceived as low status historically meant being excluded from the group, and exclusion meant danger. So your brain runs a background process, constantly asking, am I being seen the right way? And when the answer feels like no, you spend, not because you want the thing, because you want the feeling of being the person who owns the thing. Your brain reads, spending as survival. In 2016, researchers at the University of Chicago published a study on what they called symbolic self-completion, the idea that when people feel their identity is threatened or incomplete, they compensate by acquiring symbols of that identity. In plain English, when you feel like you're falling behind, you buy things that make you look like you're not. And here's the cruel mechanic inside this trap. The purchase provides temporary relief. Your brain releases dopamine. You feel briefly like the person you want to be. Then the feeling fades and the pressure builds again. This is not a character flaw. This is a loop, a documented, measurable, predictable psychological loop. The problem is that this loop has a financial consequence that most people never calculate. Let's say you spend an average of £300 a month on identity-driven purchases, clothes you didn't need, restaurants that were about being seen, gadgets that were about feeling current, upgrades that were about signaling success. £300 a month, over 10 years, invested instead at a conservative 7% return, becomes £51,000. That is not money you spent. That is a future you traded for the feeling of being the right person, right now, in front of people who will forget what you wore within hours. The social media amplifier. And then social media arrived, and this trap became industrialized. Before the internet, your social comparison group was roughly 150 people, the people you actually knew. Your brain could process that scale. Now your comparison group is infinite, and it's curated. Every person you follow is showing you their highlight reel, their best day, their biggest win, their most flattering angle. Your brain cannot distinguish between this person has a better life and this person took a well-lit photo. So it responds to both the same way. Researchers at Penn State found that passive social media consumption is directly linked to increased discretionary spending within 48 hours of the browsing session. You scroll, you feel behind, you spend. The brands know this, the platforms know this. They built this intentionally. You are not weak for falling into it, but you are responsible for climbing out. Lifestyle inflation. Your spending rises with your income. Here's the part that no one in finance talks about. Getting a raise often makes the identity trap worse. Economists call it lifestyle inflation. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. We call it spending your raise before you've earned it. The moment your income rises, so does your reference group. Suddenly the things you wanted become the things you have, and the things people above you have become the things you want. The trap scales with you. That's why studies consistently show that people earning £80,000 a year often feel no more financially secure than people earning £40,000, because the spending expands to fill the income, always. The way out is not to earn more. The way out is to stop letting your identity be the thing driving your wallet. The action steps. Breaking the identity trap doesn't require therapy, it requires clarity. 3 steps, starting this week. Step 1, the 48-hour audit. Before any non-essential purchase over £50, write down exactly who you imagine seeing you with it, not what you want it for, who you want to see you with it. If there's a person in your head, that's the trap. Wait 48 hours, then decide. Step 2, define your private identity. The wealthy person in your head owns things to enjoy them privately. Write down 5 values that no one else can see. Things you actually want from your life, not things that communicate a version of you to others. When your spending starts serving that list, the trap loses its grip. Step 3. Audit your feeds. Unfollow 3 accounts this week that make you spend. You know which ones. The ones that make you feel behind or less than or not enough. That feeling's expensive, and you're paying for it. The identity trap is one of the most expensive psychological conditions that nobody diagnoses because it doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like ambition. It feels like deserving nice things. It feels like keeping up. But the people who are actually building wealth, they stopped performing it years ago. They drive unremarkable cars, they wear unremarkable clothes, and they have remarkable financial freedom. The identity trap was case file 2. Case file 3 is coming next, and it's the trap most people never even realize they're in because it feels like comfort. It's called the comfort trap, and it is silently bleeding the people who think they're being responsible. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next examination. Case file number 3, the comfort trap, next.